house had been abandoned for decades, its once grand facade crumbling beneath the weight of time and neglect. Perched at the end of Black Hollow Road, it loomed like a rotting corpse, its windows gaping like empty eye sockets, its doors forever open in a silent, gaping scream. I never believed in ghosts. I had built a career as a freelance investigator, debunking so-called hauntings, exposing hoaxes, and explaining the unexplainable with rational logic. But the house on Black Hollow Road was different. The rumors surrounding it were persistent, chillingly specific. People who stepped inside after sunset were never seen again. Those who merely approached its iron gates swore they heard voices, felt invisible hands tug at their clothing, or saw figures flitting past the broken windows. It was too good a story to pass up. The arrival. I arrived just before twilight, armed with a flashlight, a digital recorder, and a camera. The air around the house felt thick, as though the atmosphere itself resisted my intrusion. The trees lining the road were dead, gnarled branches reaching toward the house like skeletal fingers. A rusted sign barely clung to the front gate, its words obscured by rust and time. I pushed the gate open, wincing at the shrill groan of metal. The path leading to the house was overgrown with weeds, but beneath the tangled mess, I could see the remnants of a cobblestone walkway. As I approached the door, I hesitated. A whisper, soft and indistinct, brushed against my ear. I spun around, flashlight cutting through the dim light. Nothing, just the wind, I told myself. I stepped inside. The house awakens. The air inside was suffocating, thick with the scent of mold, decay, and something metallic, like rust or old blood. The grand staircase in the center of the foyer stretched upward into darkness, its wooden steps warped and rotting. The walls were lined with torn wallpaper, revealing the bones of the house beneath. I started in the parlor. Dust covered every surface, but the furniture remained untouched, as though waiting for its owners to return. A large mirror hung above the fireplace, its surface cracked, but reflecting something off. I frowned, stepping closer. My reflection looked normal, but the room behind me, the armchair was empty. I turned around sharply. The chair had been facing the fireplace when I entered, but now it was turned toward me. A coincidence, a trick of the mind. I pressed forward. The voices. I set my recorder down on a table and turned it on. "Is there anyone here?" I called out, my voice echoing in the vast emptiness. Silence. I continued exploring, stepping carefully to avoid the weakened floorboards. As I entered what had once been a dining room, I noticed something peculiar. Plates still set on the table, covered in a thick layer of dust, as though an unfinished meal had been abandoned. Then the recorder crackled. I rushed back to the parlor, heart hammering. The tiny screen on the device flickered erratically. I hit play. A burst of static, then, "Get out!" A breathy, guttural voice. A whisper that did not belong to me. The temperature dropped sharply. My breath fogged in the air. A thud echoed from upstairs. I swallowed hard. "Just the house settling," I murmured, though I didn't believe it. The shadows move. Determined to get proof, I climbed the staircase, the wood groaning beneath my weight. At the top, a long hallway stretched before me, doors lining either side like silent sentinels. Something moved at the far end. A shadow, tall and unnaturally thin, slipped into one of the rooms. I gripped my flashlight tighter. "Hello." The door creaked open wider, revealing an expanse of darkness. My instincts screamed at me to turn back, but I stepped forward. Inside, The room was barren except for a single wooden crib pushed against the far wall. Then it started rocking. The air crackled with unseen energy, the very walls seeming to pulse like a heartbeat. The whispers returned, surrounding me, growing louder, overlapping, a chorus of agony and anger. I turned to run. A figure stood in the doorway. It was tall, impossibly tall, its limbs too long, its head cocked at an unnatural angle. Hollow eyes bore into me from a face stretched into a grotesque grin. I stumbled back, my flashlight flickering. The thing lunged. The revelation. I hit the floor, my vision blurring. The whispers turned to screams. Then, darkness. When I awoke, I was outside. The house loomed behind me, silent once more. My car was parked where I had left it, the doors unlocked. I drove away without looking back. Later, I reviewed the footage. The camera had captured something, the shadow moving, the chair turning, but the final minutes were corrupted. My own voice, distorted, whispered through the recording, "Leave while you still can." The forgotten truth. I spent weeks researching the house, trying to find a logical explanation. What I found was worse. Black Hollow Road had once been home to a small village, wiped out in a fire in 1876. The house belonged to the village doctor, Dr. Isaac Moore, a man accused of grotesque experiments on children. When the villagers discovered his crimes, they burned his house, with him inside. His final words, according to the last surviving records, "You will never leave me." I checked my footage again. Frame by frame, I watched myself inside the house. And then, I saw something I had missed before. In the reflection of the cracked mirror above the fireplace, a second figure stood behind me, tall, twisted, grinning, and I knew then, with horrifying certainty, I had never left the house. I was still there, trapped, waiting for the next fool to arrive.